to a quick edition of Lumberjack Logic Live. I'm your host, Neil Johnson. Always excited to be with you and to share the news with you folks. Kicking it old school today, just using my iPhone, going live from the iPhone because Rebecca's not around. Yes. And I didn't want to deal with it, a bunch of technical stuff. So I just threw up the iPhone and I'm going live with this quick. But there's some big news coming out of the courts. There's a number of these to start with, okay? Something else I want to share with you really quickly. So I don't know if you guys have been hearing about the rumblings in Iran, but Saudi Arabia has now apparently changed its mind. They were urging caution before and is now urging Trump to go to war with Iran. That's right. This came out of Axios. Saudi Defense Minister Prince Khalid bin Salam, that's KBS, said in a private briefing on Friday in Washington that if President Trump doesn't follow through on his threats against Iran, the regime will end up stronger. So that is fascinating to me. Absolutely fascinating. Okay? Oh my gosh, look at this. I just found another story for you folks. Left-wing Michigan judge Andrea Bradley Baskin and 3 others have been charged with fraud by the Trump DOJ. They are accused of using the court system in Detroit to defraud and embezzle hundreds of thousands from incapacitated people. No freaking way. A left-wing judge and 3 others have been charged with fraud by the Trump DOJ. This is on the heels of the Don Lemon arrest, which, folks, I'm not even going to get into that whole charging document. Maybe we can go over that tomorrow in my Sunday evening stream. Oh, this is getting good. But here, you guys want to hear, okay, so there's a big win for the Trump administration, but first I want to share this with you. A jury has awarded Fox Varian a total of $2 million after it found her psychologist and surgeon liable for medical malpractice related to a mastectomy at age 16. Folks, this lady had a mastectomy. They're trying to, trans her out and everything. She has been awarded now $2 million after it found the psychologist and surgeon were liable for medical malpractice related to that mastectomy. That's a big win. Do you guys all understand how big of a win that is? Okay, this isn't like Trump administration, that kind of thing. I'll get to that in a second, but that's a big win. Now I want to take you back in time, okay? So do you guys remember when Judge Boasberg was going all on about the Alien Enemies Act and we weren't supposed to deport anyone, and then the Supreme Court, so they were raving about it because they had an early victory, they thought, and then they went on, and then eventually Trump got his win in the Supreme Court. Well, now we're dealing with Operation Metro Surge, right? A Biden-appointed federal judge has just sided with the Trump administration over Minnesota AG Keith Ellison and will not halt immigration enforcement surge in Minneapolis and St. Paul. That's right. Listen to this out of NBC freaking News. This has got to be so hard for them to report. Judge allows ICE Operation Metro Surge to continue in Minnesota. Folks, do me a favor. Smash that like if you would. Chat in with where you're from. While you're doing that, I'm going to get into this story, but go check out the Rev 7 at mypillow.com/lumberjack. Folks, you can get the blueberry lemon. You can get the apple, the green apple. You can get the lemonade. Whoop, I'll turn this. There's the lemonade. And they even have now the lemonade in shots, okay? No sugar, no caffeine. It uses something called ketones, which is what your body produces when it goes into ketosis. And also, Giza sheets are in stock. Giza sheets are in stock. Many colors and sizes available. They're already selling out again. He's getting this in limited batches. Folks, the best gift you can get for anybody, I'm serious, hands down, Giza sheets. They're the best sheets you'll ever sleep on. My audience can chat in. They know, many of them have it. Best by far sheets ever. Right now, 50% off Giza sheets at mypillow.com/lumberjack or call the 800 number at 1-800-568-2865. All right, let's get into the article. Judge allows ICE's Operation Metro Surge to continue in Minnesota. Okay, so Keith Ellison made this big thing about how this was so bad, and it was so harmful to Minnesota, and that the judge needed to put out a TRO, basically block them, right? And then the judge did acknowledge the widespread disruption of the daily life. The widespread disruption, folks, of daily life across the state of Minnesota is not related to ICE doing Operation Metro Surge. It's in regards to the reaction to Operation Metro Surge. Do you know what the left's new plan was this last week? Do y'all know this? No shopping, no going out, no doing this, no doing that. Yet here they are showing up to protest, and they're getting paid for it. Wait, I thought nobody was supposed to go to work. These protesters are going to work. Give me a freaking break. Rules for me, but not for thee, my fine friends. A federal judge on Saturday declined to immediately halt Operation Metro Surge, allowing the sweeping federal immigration enforcement effort to continue in Minnesota while a broader legal challenge pays out. U.S. District Judge Catherine Menendez denied a request from Minnesota officials for a TRO, despite acknowledging that she described it as a profound and even heartbreaking consequences for communities in the state. So she's obviously sympathetic to the cause, but she knew. Why? Folks, help me out in my chat here. You're a smart audience. Tell me why, even though she's saying that it's heartbreaking and that it's difficult, why would she rule in favor of the Trump administration and not do the TRO? Why would she do that? Okay? Chat in with this. I seriously, this is a real question. Why would a judge who is sympathetic to the citizens and the illegal immigrants, all the people out protesting, the citizens who are protesting and the illegal immigrants who are getting sent back, okay, why would she not do this? Why would she? It's not because she's scared, okay? And it's not because she's respecting executive power in her heart, okay? And I see feelings aren't laws. Come on, folks, I want some more comments here. Supreme Court. Exactly, Joey. She doesn't want to get overturned. She doesn't want to get overturned. None of these judges want to get overturned, because what happens if she issues this TRO, the Trump administration is immediately going to file for an emergency injunction against the TRO, and it's going to be granted. It's going to be freaking granted, because it's absurd to think that federal law enforcement can enforce federal law. These very same mayors and governors of these states and cities were the same ones. Do you remember when Biden was letting in all the millions and millions of illegal aliens? And what did they tell you? Well, we can't do anything about it, because that's, federal law. But then Biden was coming down on the states saying, hey, that's federal purview. You can't enforce this. And then as soon as the government then does start enforcing it, then they say, hey, wait, the government can't enforce that because the state doesn't want them to. It's lunacy. Okay, let's go on. She said, those are not the only harms to be considered, however. The Eighth Circuit has recently reiterated that entry or injunction barring the federal government from enforcing law imposes significant harm on the government. By the way, did any of you folks see the crowd getting tear gassed in LA and crying? All these people, it's like they expect no repercussions. So then all of a sudden the government pulls out the tear gas, disperses the crowd, and they're all crying and weeping and wailing. My gosh, give me a break, these people. Anyways, Minnesota officials argued that the operations violate the 10th Amendment by unlawfully pressing the state to change or abandon so-called sanctuary. What the hell? Oh my gosh, this was the frickin' legal argument? Are you kidding me? Listen to this. Minnesota officials argued that the operation violates the 10th Amendment by unlawfully pressing the state to change or abandon sanctuary policies and cooperate more fully with federal immigration authorities. Hold on. I got Trump's word 668. I'm going to give you a heart here. Thank you for that super. Neil, I'm getting low on the savings, but needed to thank you for all your excellent posts. Can't wait till Mike Liddell stands in the Minnesota State House, proclaims Jesus as his savior, then gives the satanic display a boot. That's right. Folks, did you guys just hear what I said? The argument by Keith Ellison and the freaks in Minnesota was that it violates the 10th Amendment by unlawfully pressing the state to change or abandon sanctuary policies and cooperate more fully with federal immigration authorities. Menendez said those arguments, at least at this state, were not strong enough to justify blocking the operation. So, do you understand what they're saying? They're saying that their legal argument is that they are supreme to federal law, which there's a federal supremacy clause in the Constitution. This is their argument. I'm like in shock, honestly, that was their freaking legal argument. Okay, let's move on. The inferences to be drawn regarding the allegedly coercive purpose of Operation Metro Surge are not as one-sided as plaintiffs suggest, she wrote, rejecting the state's claim that the operation was being carried out in a brazenly lawless way to force changes in state and local law. The Minnesota Attorney General's office did not immediately respond to NBC News' request for comment. I bet they didn't, folks. I bet they didn't. Are you kidding me? This is insanity. You guys want to hear something else big coming out of the Supreme Court? Okay? Come on, I'm trying to get the chat rate up. You got to say yes or no. You want to hear something else big coming out of the Supreme Court? We got to get some more people on this stream. Can you believe this was their argument? You've got to be kidding me. Hold on. Metro Surge to continue. Their argument was that their sanctuary policies were being violated. You have got to be kidding me. This is going to have bad consequences, the judge said, but still. Attorney General Pam Bondi called the ruling huge. Neither sanctuary policies nor meritless litigation will stop the Trump administration from enforcing federal laws in Minnesota, she posted on X. By the way, folks, just quick question. I'm not going to be the Pam Bondi hater. She is hard for me to deal with. Can I just be honest with you? If Trump wants her there, Trump has his reasons, and I'll just leave it at that. I wanted Trump to do a job. I'm not going to second guess him at every turn. I'm just not going to do it. I'm not. But did Pam Bondi seem like the weakest lady when she went on with her strong letter bit on Fox News? Did you guys remember that? She goes, well, we sent Tim Walz a very strong letter. And then she said, well, he better support Donald Trump. Gosh, I can't get the clip out of my head. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to dog on Bondi. You know, the Justice Department is doing a number of good things. Okay, I'm not trying to dog on her, but she's had some missteps, okay? And the strong letter, and he better freaking gosh. Oh my gosh. Okay, all right. You guys all wanted the other news. I saw it. Let me get to it. Where is it? Where did I put it now? There was a bad ruling out of the Supreme Court too. We'll get into that. Oh, guess what the Supreme Court, guess what hearing the Supreme Court is hearing, or guess what the Supreme Court will be hearing on April 1st, folks. Does anybody, trivia question for you fine folks. What case is the Supreme Court going to be hearing on April 1st? It's not tariffs. This is flipping phenomenal, though. This is big. This is big. Birthright citizenship. Birthright citizenship. A couple of you got it. Listen to this. The Supreme Court will hear oral arguments on April 1st in the challenge to President Donald Trump's effort to end birthright citizenship. That is a guarantee of citizenship to virtually everyone born in the United States. That case, Trump versus Barbara, is one of 8 cases scheduled during the court's March argument session, which runs from March 23rd to 25th and again from March 30th to April 1st. The justices will also hear oral arguments in an important election law case, Watson versus Republican National Committee, on March 23rd. Trump issued the executive order at the center of the birthright citizenship case on January 20th, 2025. The order, which has never gone into effect, would bar automatic citizenship for babies being born in the United States if their their parents are in this country illegally or temporarily. The challenges in the case contend that the order conflicts with both the Supreme Court's longstanding case law and the text of the 14th Amendment to the Constitution, which provides that all persons born or naturalized in the United States are subject to the jurisdiction thereof, are citizens of the United States and the state wherein they reside. The Trump administration counters that the citizenship clause of the 14th Amendment, which was added to the Constitution in 1868, was simply intended to ensure that formerly enslaved people and their children were U.S. citizens, rather than to provide the sweeping benefit that it confers today. And that's the reality, folks. That's what's going on. Let's see here. I got to scroll back here just real quick on the comments. I got to make sure, like I'm doing this off my phone, so I don't see every super. So I just want to make sure I'm acknowledging those. The April 1st argument will be the first time that the justices will officially consider the legality of Trump's order after several federal courts around the country blocked the government last year from enforcing the order. The Trump administration asked the court to weigh in on the power of federal district courts to issue orders, often known as universal or nationwide injunctions, that prohibit the government from implementing a law or policy anywhere in the country. The Supreme Court ruled in late June that federal judges generally cannot issue such orders. Politically incorrect. I just saw that one. Thank you. Neil, do you think that Keith Ellison will play Don Lemon, oh gosh, a conjugal visit in prison? No, I don't actually. Keith Ellison, unlike Don, he likes ladies. It just seems that he has a problem with violence towards them. Sadly. Anyways, that's a huge thing, though. The birthright citizenship case is being heard. So we have just big wins happening here. I'm going to give you something else really quick. I should do my own separate video on this, but I'm just trying to take care of projects around the house, folks. I've been YouTubing it so hard this last week. By the way, folks, do me a favor. I have another channel. I created it as a backup channel back during the days of getting struck and demonetized and banned and all this stuff, right? And it's only got like 8,000 subscribers. I just posted a video that's doing pretty good over there. It's like 13,000 views, which for that channel is really good. Can you just do me a favor? Just, if you can, just say yes, just so I can see who's willing to do this. Can you go subscribe to that channel? If you search Lumberjack Logic on YouTube, the handle on that channel, I don't know, but it's Lumberjack Logic. It's got my picture on it, but it's Lumberjack Logic. Can you just go over there and watch the most recent video and subscribe to that for me? What I'm doing, just so you guys know what I'm doing, I want to produce a bunch of 3-minute videos for you. Hopefully get to the point where I get 3 a day done. Highly shareable content that you can share on. Thank you. I see all of you saying, and a lot of you are subscribed. Thank you. Thank you very much for that. But I'm trying to get that last video to get a little bit of virality to it. But I want to produce these 3-minute, 4-minute, 2-minute videos for you. If I produce that length of content on this channel, it actually harms the channel because it shows that the watch time is way below regular watch time. Does this make sense to y'all? It's weird because I would think it should all be based on watch percentage. But if you're watching my 12-minute videos and then you watch a 3-minute video, they give me this like, you're way below your watch time. And so it's actually, I have to keep all the videos kind of around the same length of time. Lives don't matter so much. I can do lives however I want, but I can't put those videos over here. So I am uploading them onto that channel. That way it makes content more shareable for you with your friends when you just want to do like these quick news hits and they're not really in tune to listening to longer reports. All right. So, you want to know what the bad Supreme Court decision is? All right. Actually, it's not a Supreme Court decision. I'm sorry. It's a federal court decision. I'll give it to you here. Mark Elias is happy. Yeah, Mark Elias is happy. That tells you how bad it is. A federal court has blocked Donald Trump's executive order imposing new requirements for verifying the U.S. citizenship of people registering to a vote or applying to receive absentee ballots. That's right. You no longer have to prove you're a U.S. citizen, according to some federal judge who overrode Donald Trump's executive order. Yeah, that'll get appealed. But I think the Supreme Court is kind of done hearing cases for the year. They've taken their last cases, so I don't know where that goes. After this, that will go to an appeals court, I know. So that's not good news. But see, I want to give you the good news. I will do. So in the Signal chat that has been hijacked by Cam Higbee, I've talked about this before. I'm going to do a separate video on this. I'll probably do this on tomorrow. So make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you're tuned in. But we are going to go through, they basically admitted in their Signal chat that they knew they were committing illegal acts. And their desire was to create flashpoints and escalate the confrontations at ICE abductions. Now, I want you to think about that. We'll go through the whole thing, but that's just a quick overview of it. The bottom line is that they were working to escalate the ICE, escalate at ICE abductions. They call them ICE abductions. Obviously, they're not abductions, I understand. And then create flashpoints. And as a result, now they have a couple dead people. I told you before, they do not care. They don't care about the dead people because that's just cannon fodder for their cause. Okay? Again, please support Mike Lindell. He's running for governor of the state of Minnesota. One of the best ways, get some of this Rev 7 energy drink. I'm telling you, folks, you'll love it. You will. I really like the shots. That's new. That's on there. But I like a carbonated beverage sometimes as well. The best flavor is probably this green apple, but in the shots, it's only available in the lemonade right now. It is, I don't know if you guys like a tart lemonade or like some people like things all the time really sweet. It's sweetened with stevia and it's just got that tartness that I like. The tartness alone will wake you up. It's just, I love it. I love that. I love those shots. But anyways, but they have admitted to this all. We'll go over that. Again, I'll do a live stream. I'm trying to get a Sunday night live stream out. Of course, I got Sunday as church day, and we've got all that going on. But I'm trying to get a Sunday night live out. And thanks for all you new folks. I mean, I love my OGs, though. Okay, my OGs have been with me through it thick and thin. But I know there's a lot of new subscribers on the channel in this last, especially in the last 10-day period. We've had some videos that have gone fairly viral. So thank you. Thanks for listening, for watching, for sharing, for liking, for commenting, all of it. So thank you. I really do mean that. Thank you for your support. Does mean a lot to me. It really does. Especially with, all that, this channel's gone through over the years. So, all right. mypillow.com/lumberjack or call 1-800-568-2865. We'll see you on the next episode, folks. Love y'all. Peace out.